Oh boy, where do I begin? But at the beginning, it has been a very interesting week, as it seems to be every week these days, right? I just want to state now from the beginning, I am 100%. I have made up my mind. I am 100% in support of Candace Owens in her support, or rather, I say in her support, in her quest for the truth. 100%. While she may miss it sometimes, as we all do, the fact is that we need to be trying to find out the truth. The reason why I've come to this conclusion as it is right now is because you have people who are desperately trying to tell us that we should just believe whatever the government tells us and that's it. But how many times do we have to find out that the government lies for the benefit of the people who are running it? How many times do we have to learn this? How many times? Listen, the fact is, in the aftermath of Charlie's assassination, I thought that we needed to be patient with certain things because patience is a virtue, even if you are suspicious of certain things. And I'm sure that many of us have been suspicious about many things. There is always a time and place for everything. But as the days have gone by, you have two camps, right? You have one group who is like, actually three camps. You have a group that is suspicious of how he died, and rightfully so, and are asking questions. You have people who are going over the top with their theories, as you will always have, and I don't really know what their intentions are, but perhaps they're also well-intentioned. And then you have the other group that's like, believe what the government is saying, and you can't question anything. And I find that very ridiculous because some of these people are people who came up being anti-establishment, and all of a sudden they're supposed to trust the establishment. How exactly does this make sense? Let me go back to Candace.
Particular set of messages that were written on April 6th, 2018, just a couple of weeks before Kanye tweeted, "I love the way Candace Owens thinks," which is relevant because a lot of things changed after that tweet. And it's relevant because Charlie sensed that something big was about to happen. And I think that is what the something big was. I also want to say, obviously, I am not making up these messages. Okay, turning point. Actually, Mikey McCoy has access to all of Charlie Kirk's messages. They can tell you that these ones are real. Here is what he wrote. We were again talking about Kanye. Charlie wrote to me, "You're going to be the Iron Lady of America." He had such a political vision for me. I never wanted that sort of a thing. I see it so freaking clearly. I might be Moses, though. I might not see this whole thing through. LMAO. If that is the case, be my David. I said, "Dude, you haven't even realized your power yet. He's like, you're so young," was what I was thinking. He said, "If I tell you the true prophecy that I know in my gut, it's really sad, but I hope it's wrong." He went on to say, "Anyway, I am not sure if I will live to see the end of this revolution. I believe you were the piece that God meant me to meet that will finish the fight. Since the beginning of TPUSA, I knew in my gut that I might get wiped out at any time. I cannot explain it, but I dream about it all the time, like all the time. Anyway, that's depressing combo for another time, LMAO. I said, "That's weird, more of a fear manifestation than an actualization." He said, "I'm not really afraid of it, but I'm just telling you what I know to be true."
Candace is an extremely courageous person, and believe me, I really do believe that God has purposed her to be doing what she's doing in this time. Because how many people are willing to do the stuff that she's doing or has been doing for years? The whole Bridget's thing and, Bridget Macron thing and whatnot. How many people would have gone as far as she did and as boldly as she did to reveal all that information? Please tell me. How many? And the people who do often end up gone. But she's been going, and you can tell that God has kept her and is keeping her for this purpose. Not to mention that when it comes to Charlie, this is a woman that spent so many years with that man. They were close. They built something together, right? And if you watch the last video that she made, for all the people that don't like her or hate what she's doing, how can you know that Charlie was almost certain that he was going to die and be wiped out? And he trusted her to continue the legacy. How could you know that and still feel the way you tend to feel about her after that? I think this is a question you have to ask yourselves genuinely. Look, whatever position you've taken in the past, humility is a beautiful thing. And being humble enough to change your opinion or change your perspective is a necessity if you are in search of the truth. if you realize that a certain way you've been thinking is wrong, and you realize it genuinely, and you still stick to your old guns, you are just proud. And your pride will lead to your destruction one way or the other. So, as far as this investigation goes, listen, man, I already said this before. And for people who never heard me say this, I'm going to say this. I never believed that the young man they got, that Tyler Robinson guy, really was the guy. I've never felt animosity towards him or any feeling towards him because I don't feel he's relevant. I've always felt from the beginning this was a JFK moment again. And this is more like what I believe. This is what I'm saying. This is a man. I believe is spiritual intuition that this was a JFK thing because I don't have the evidence to prove it. But that, and you don't have to take. So don't take my word for it. If you're a Christian, you pray about these things and you do what God will have you do, right? So, but at the same time, the FBI or the CIA, these people are certainly not my God, and these people are certainly not people that I'm going to trust 100% of the time. People that have been proven to lie a lot. And the fact is, look, you remove the institutions. The fact is, human beings lie. People manipulate for their interests. I would listen. If God reveals the darkness regarding this whole Charlie Kirk assassination and it comes out around this period, wow, that would be so beautiful. I would be so glad to see it happen, because what usually happens is you have people labeled conspiracy theorists, and some people believe them, and some people think, most people would be like, yeah, but we have no evidence, so they just ignore it. And then 40 or 50 years later, somehow the evidence will come out and people will be like, wow, so this thing really happened, but it's so long ago, so there's no real outrage at this point. So they just willingly let it go because they have so much to do in their ordinary day-to-day lives. But I think you guys need to pay attention to the cycle, and the cycle of, when I say the cycle of history, of how these things happen, and you will understand that, my friend, any secret society cannot be trusted, even if they tell you they're doing things in your interest. Any secret society can be manipulated. The whole idea of democracy, as a matter of fact, even though it could be good, the whole system of democracy, just by design, makes it easy, or relatively easy, to be manipulated. And I'm not saying that there are other systems better than democracy, but I'm just saying that any human system is flawed. So there's the drawback of any system you choose to have, whether it's an autocratic one, or you're like, or America, for instance, a republic that has a democratic process, right? Regardless of what system you live in, every system can be and is manipulated. So you have to know that. And back to Candace. Listen, she may miss it sometimes, as we all do. She's in the public, so it's more visible. But the fact is, I believe her heart is in the right place. She really wants to know what's going on. And some people trying to discredit her. This is something that I've heard someone say. Some people say that she's grifting, using Charlie to make money. You people must be delusional. I think you don't understand how big Candace is and has been. She has been the biggest social or political commentator for a while now. Oh, wow, she's bigger than all these other institutions. That's just a fact. So when people say stuff like that, I mean, seriously, get serious, right? If you're going to come at her with something, at least come at her with something substantial, but not something like that. And frankly, if she doesn't continue the fight, who will? Because let's be honest, there's so much suspicious stuff regarding Charlie's assassination. A lot, man. I mean, a lot. How can a public assassination like that just go under the rug? I mean, yes, I said this publicly, that we needed to take our time and be patient, and I stand by that. But to just conclude these investigations just like that with information that doesn't make sense, but yeah, it's the FBI that said it, so let's take their word for it. Man, trust no man. Trust no man. Listen, you follow the Spirit of God. If you're a Christian, especially, follow, and I would urge you to get to have a relationship with Christ, because in this crazy world, I can tell you one thing: it is good versus evil. It's not just like one Republican versus Democrat. There are evil people everywhere. There may be more evil on one side than in another at certain points in history, but the truth is evil. And the world system as is run by the devil. So I'll tell you this in closing regarding this matter. I suggest you get right with God and you seek God for yourself and seek Jesus and seek discernment in spirit. And not everything God tells you, you have to come out there and just say, unless God instructs you to say, right? But don't be fooled by these people who want to be your God. They want to have the power to tell you this is what happened, this is this, the sun is blue, and you take it as gospel truth. That is where we're heading. I saw a poll that was put out by Brandon Tatum on one of his videos about the conspiracy theories regarding Charlie's assassination. And while he was reacting to a guy that I actually found funny, he put out a poll saying, do you think that influencers should be banned or stopped from speaking about the case? I'm paraphrasing, right? But that was generally what he put out there. And you would be shocked. The overwhelming responses were yes. And this made me realize that people are so, and I don't say this to be insulting, I mean all of us as human beings, so foolish that you'll be willing to give up your own freedom to silence somebody else because you don't like what the person is saying. You cannot imagine how mind-boggling that is to me. Mind-boggling. There were only a few people who were like, no, you guys are going to give up your freedom. And I think those few people who said no, myself included, are a microcosm of the world. Only a few people are truly, genuinely for the truth. Other people are for the truth when it suits them. That is it. And this is beyond the lines of Republican or Democrat. Most people are just for the truth when it suits them and whatever suits them. You see this across board. So don't be deceived or fooled by all these people who come once in a while and tell you, oh, this is the way to go. There are people who can say the truth, who can say the truth, but they are not of the truth. So they say the truth when it benefits what they are trying to push, the agenda that they're trying to push. And when it doesn't, you'll see their true colors. But listen, by their fruits you shall know them. And my friend, the truth is, fruits take time to blossom. So just patiently wait and you'll get to see what everyone is really about. But back to the topic. I am in full support of Candace when it comes to this investigation. She may miss it sometimes, and if she misses it and does something wrong, I will gladly say it was wrong. But the truth is that people need to be trying to find out what happened, like she is doing. And no, we're not going to rely on government institutions because government institutions cannot be trusted. And that has been proven time and time again. Listen, as I always sign off here because it's the most important thing in the world. Jesus Christ is King. God bless. Oh, by the way, if you like my videos, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a video.